All right. So somebody asked me a question. They said, "So what do you think of Vim9's new Vimscript?" I'm like, "Wait, there's a Vim9. It has a Vimscript. Cool." Um, the truth is, I actually knew this was coming, and honestly, I've never cared. Um, because why? Because why? I'm recorded now. I'm not supposed to say the F word within the first 5 minutes, so they're giving me crap about that. I remember watching a question about Java stuff. You know, SOS. It was like a minute or two into the video. Yeah, the people get mad at me because they're like, "Go ask somebody else. Don't ask me." I make videos and they ask me questions like, the first thing I'm gonna tell you is go ask somebody else. All right. So, what do you think of instruments? Honestly, I do not care at all. I don't. I'm not changing anything, and no need. I mean, you gotta understand. I use Vim. Yeah. If you do add it, by the way, if you do add, make sure you can wrap in conditionals. People do not do this all the time, and it's really saddens me because they can't use their single Vim RC file, and they can't just SCP it to a directory or CP it with Docker or something, and they can't put it on a system, and they can't use their Vim RC that they created, or worse, they've used NeoVim, and there's no Lua over there. Caught myself. So let me give you an example of what I mean. So here's my vimrc. You can go look at it. It's in my dot files. It's not hard to find. And I put stuff up here. I put if has eval, vimtiny lacks eval. So vimtiny is more likely to be the thing you're going to encounter in a smaller containerized world. I want to say oh yeah, all the Jupyter Hub images, for example, the standard Docker Stacks images, they only have Vim Tiny in them. So why would you use more than that? I mean, the whole point of Vim is being compatible and remote and being able to get onto different things. Alpine actually uses VI; it doesn't use Vim. Same with BusyBox. Alpine is a BusyBox distro, so that doesn't count. That's another reason to use VI and not to use Control C for interrupt because it doesn't work in VI on BusyBox or Alpine or anything else that actually knows what's up. So learn it properly. I've done a whole video on learning VI right. You can go watch that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that here's I got this stuff progressive enhancement, right? So the idea of progressive enhancement, which is the fundamental idea behind progressive web apps, is that you adapt for the least available technology and you create things that support that and then level up, kind of like a 56K modem, if you remember back in those days, right? My speed's fast. Oh, great. Let's do another speed. Oh, great. Oh, great. And you test what you can get, and then you use the maximum technology. I think that principle of progressive enhancement should be applied to learning as well. I don't think you should jump right into learning something without learning the steps to move up to it, and that includes learning things like ed and then vi and then vim and then neovim if you really want, and then emacs, whatever. As long as you know this stuff to get there, then you're never going to be inhibited by not knowing the other stuff. And I can tell you right now, I didn't learn ed before I learned vi, and I regret it big time because I went back and learned ed last year, and I was like, oh my god, this would have made my vim usage, all my stuff with my X command, which is just a different version of ed, kind of, it would have made it so much better. So again, progressive enhancement. I'm here though because we're talking about Vim progressive detection, right? So if you're gonna use Vim9, and I haven't even looked at Vimscript in Vim9 yet. I haven't even reviewed it. So, and I won't be looking at it. It's just a waste of time to me right now. I got other things to do. I don't really care. I mean, I have Vim7 on the login machine at work, and I'm so grateful that I can use my workspace containers to do my own Vim. Vim8 at least. 8.1, I go above that, and good luck getting it installed. No one's going to open a change ticket for you to upgrade your Vim to Vim9 so you can use Vimscript. Ain't happening in most server environments. And people that have been around the block know what I'm talking about here. They laugh at people who talk about edgy uses of things like this because they understand that the enterprise stuff doesn't work like that. Now, the container world, to be fair, use of your editor locally is more of a thing, right? Because you're just execing into other things, or you're editing files locally and then committing them, and even kube control edit does local YAML edits using your local editor, and then it nano, even if you want, God help you, but and it pushes it up and it takes it all in. So, but this is what I hope that they support in 9. If they don't, so I'm gonna put this out there as a warning to anybody who's looking at Vim 9, and I imagine they do have something like this. And first of all, if Vim 9 breaks backward compatibility with Vimscript, if Vim9 script breaks backward compatibility with Vim9 script, that would be a killer. No one will use it. And I don't know if that's true yet. So I don't know. Someone can yell at me in the comments if they want, like they always do. And you can let me know what's going on with that. For teaching me ed before you touch VI. Yeah, I got other people, really astute programmers are just confirming that whole ed to VI thing. Are you yelling at me? You're always yelling at me. So, you could whisper, you could whisper at me or whatever. So, yeah, so this is kind of my solution. So this here, so I8, for example, this actually stopped me. I can actually use the same file now, at work, on the login servers when I have to use the login server, because I have this. If I didn't have this, it would spew errors all over the screen every time I open anything with VI. And so that was not going to happen. And so I have that throughout, and that relatively recently is when I added the Vim9's support, because I was working on the Jupyter project, and that was when I discovered if you do it if has eval, that will automatically tech for Vim9, and you'll see if has eval all throughout my stuff here. In order to do that, I suggest, here's another one. I would suggest doing the same thing with Vim9 and then just owning it. Oh boy, make sure you have a Vim before I hear you'll get surprised when your stuff gets truncated. That's just a really dangerous one too. We need to do a whole review of the Vimrc config. People need to see it. It's still one of the main inhibitors to getting going in Vim in a good way, for most beginners. So we should do that. But for the sake of Vim9, I tell you what, I'll add Vim9 to my spelling errors. How about that? If you make sure you're adding wrapping conditionals. That's all I have to say about that. I really don't have anything more. I don't plan to use Vim9 at all. I may actually look at the script. Should we do that right now? What does Vim9 Vimscript look like? So here's my impression video. It's backward compatible, right, Gbowen? Will NeoVim merge Vim9's upcoming Vimscript? Who gives a shit? NeoVim is an alpha project. It's not even officially been released in any production capacity. What Braun was thinking about creating Vimscript, I suggest exiting the scripting language, blah, blah, blah. This is like a really old thing. I really don't like reading threads about Vim because it's full of people who don't know shit. They don't do anything significant. They're like non-contributors arguing about their hobby PC at home. I don't care. It's kind of a joke, but you can yell at me if you want to. Fine, yell at me. I don't care. I completely agree with you. And I witnessed a few blah, 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 blah. Let's all fight about how Vimscript is better than the other. I don't care. If you're, first of all, look, if you're using Vimscript, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'm going to put that. If you're doing Vimscript, you're doing it wrong. If you are writing a lot of Vimscript, you're not doing it the Unix way. Make filters, people. Oh God. Okay, if you don't, I'm not going to rant about this anymore. So, and I'm going to put use filters. And if you don't know what a filter is, you have no business using it. And I'm not talking to you anymore. Seriously. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, honestly, I have made hours of video about how to use Vim properly using filters. Go watch the beginner boost videos, and they go through it. In fact, I spent too much time using the Unix philosophy and talking about filters. And you can go use that. If you don't like it, fine. Seriously, if you're bloating Vim, you're not following the Unix philosophy, period. I use plugins for syntax. I use things for things that make sense. Do I use, a fuzzy finder? No, because there's find, and I can run find from here. So I could run find from here. I could write an entire line for find. I could say, find me all the, let's find all the files that end in .py. I don't know. Find /name .py. Let's do that. And let's actually run it right here in the middle of my session while I'm editing a file and send it to bash and see how long it takes. Probably too long. Let's do something easier. So we just, oh, there we go. I mean, it's regular fine, right? But let's do something else. I don't know. Let's like make a for loop. So for I in 0 to 10, do echo, I don't know, I period something done. Okay. Now we'll run that. Boom. There's a filter. You should be actively writing bash code in your VI sessions instead of depending on plugins to do shit. That's the Unix way. That's the Unix philosophy, is to use filters, to use input stuff. You want a fucking calendar? Fine, do cal, you know? You don't even have to do it that way. You can go bang, bang, and then do cal. So go, I mean, look, before you go reaching for Vimscript, learn how to use VI and VI filters and learn the Unix philosophy. And if you don't know what those things are, go search about it. I've done videos on them. All right. But I get tired of this, what's the best editor and what's the best thing, because it's just completely against the whole thing. You might as well use Emacs. Exactly. And write everything in Lisp. I mean, do you not know this? Do people not know this? Look, let's do another one. All right, so let's say, actually watch this. I can do I can link in every Zettelcast I've ever read about Vimscript. Let's see if we can find it. Vim, let's do, okay, I'm going to grab every Zettelkasten that ever has any reference to Vim right now. And I'm going to run it through my filter. I wrote this code. This is a command line inside of my VI code. And I'm going to run bash. Boom, there they all are with a link. Was there a plugin for that? Fuck no, there's no plugin. It's just a filter, because every single thing I make is a filter, and you should too. And by the way, the filters don't just benefit you when you're using VI. They benefit you when you're writing scripts, because this filter can feed into the next filter. Because guess what's the fucking Unix philosophy? That's what you should be doing in the first place. So before you reach for Vimscript, learn how to use Unix properly. And then fine, go use it. Use what you want. Or you can tell me to fuck off. I don't care. I don't care. Love you guys. See you later.